Hey, I came across this video of a producer getting robbed. He actually rented out his studio and ended up being robbed for $40,000 of equipment. So I decided to check out this Simulathe virtual master cut. So this plugin, in its essence, should be there to simulate a lathe being cut. So something that would press your vinyl later, and it would show you if you were to have any potential problems with your master. So if your master is too wide, if you have any kind of signal in your song that would make that needle on that vinyl move in a wrong way or in a problematic way, so to speak. If you have too much width or if you have too much velocity, so the needle needs to move too fast from left to right, or if you're cutting too deep of a groove, so if basically your amplitude is too high, all of those could prove to be a problem. So let's see what we can do by analyzing this song. I tried to create a stereo problem in some parts of this song. So I tried to go overboard to see how much different that's going to be from what I actually have. What I need to do is need to tell this plugin where the side of the record starts. So I'm set to just have this one song, and maybe I can zoom out and play it right here as well. Tell it this is the end. Stop. Okay, that's it. So now it knows where the song starts and ends, how long it takes. And that's relevant because we need to know how long a piece of music is that we want to cut into this lathe to be pressed into vinyl. So the length of music for this physical carrier is also important. It's not digital, so you just can't cram as much as you want. Even a CD that was digital had a limitation of how much music, how much data could be on it physically. This being a physical medium, we told it where the end and the start are. And now when I played the music, let's say right here, it's going to be analyzing what happens to it. And I could see that later here in the inspection part. So this is a demo version, but everything works in full. You just can't recall a session. That's the only limitation you have. So I'm playing it here a tiny bit, this part of the song. I want to play the problematic parts I created just a tiny bit. Just play it a little bit so we have some, analysis done. Let's play it here a tiny bit. This is overly stereo. Smearing the highs. Yeah, this is crazy. I've done this on purpose, of course. Just wanted to play a bit of this as well. And then I want to play a bit of this right here. Just at least a tiny bit, just so we can see what it looks like. And then I'm going to go all the way here in the back. I have the main drop, a lot of synths, a lot of stereo as well. I just want to see how this would behave, under a master. So let's see. That's nice. By the way, this is not a mastered audio. This is a pre-master of a song. So it does not have any processing on it. So we don't have the sides part of the signal cut off below a certain point. Even though a mix has been taken care of, still there are some things that in the mastering should be taken care of just to make sure that any kind of carrier would be able to cut it. Now, of course, if you're doing something for vinyl, you're going to do a specific master for vinyl with a different amount of limiting and a different amount of stereo on it as well. So you are definitely going to take care of it. If you have a release being printed on vinyl, you have to do a separate master for it. But it's not bad to have some of those things done also because of the reproduction. So having no stereo information, or at least lowering the stereo information in the low frequencies, is also good for reproduction on audio systems. So let's see what that gave us. Of course, we also have some processors right here. So we have a high pass that's going to cut off all the low frequencies from a signal. And those low frequencies really are harmful for vinyl because those have the highest amplitude. The elliptical is going to cut off all the stereo information from the signal. So we could even run that up to 500 hertz. Whatnot. Let's keep that let's say 150, 140, let's say even 200 for a vinyl like this. And we have the low pass, which is supposed to remove all the highest of the frequencies. Let's keep that at this arbitrary 17K. So I'm going to keep it right there just to see what the processors do or not. And if I go into the disk stats right here, I should be able to see what's happening with the signal and if I'm creating any problems. Like here, right there. Let me just play this a tiny bit. Yeah, so this is the part that we played already, that it's scanned. And I would really like to see if I have any problems. So did I create any problems in this song? And by the way, it only has a limiter on it, nothing else. So I want to see if there are any problems here being shown. And from what I can see, it's the width, and it only has a problem in stereo on the parts where I artificially created them. So you can see that, it's too wide right here, too wide. And if I look at this record from a 90-degree angle and zoom out a tiny bit, you can see exactly where that's going to happen on the lathe when it's being cut. I can change the angle, I can change the zoom, and that's really nice. You can follow what's happening while you're playing the vinyl like this. So it's playing and it's showing you which groove and where exactly the needle is going to be when it's playing and what part of that vinyl cut is going to be a problem. And that's really nice. It's telling us if we have a problem in excursion, and that is how much the groove moves left and right, the width of that groove, so how deep we're cutting, how wide that groove is going to become, where the needle is supposed to track. We have the velocity on how fast it moves from left to right. And we have the land, which is basically how much of an empty space do we have in between two grooves. And that can even become negative if the grooves overlap, so meaning they move too much to the left and right. So if we were to apply some filters, I guess that we would cut off a lot of these potential problems, meaning that, let's say I cut much like that, cut it, let's say 40 hertz, and let's see. So I'm guessing that right now we don't, look at that. The only problems we have with stereo are going to be those that I just told you. So the velocity, we don't have any problems from what I can see, which is weird to me, but we don't. A little bit problems with the land, and a little bit, no problems with excursions, so it's not even too deep. Even with the loudness I set, and by the way, this is pulling the volume down -6 dBs on the input. And if we were to reset that to 0, let me try that. Reset it to 0. Imagine we are cutting the lathe with like the full digital master loudness. So let me play a part of the song somewhere else, like right here. It's gonna appear right there. I just have to go out and come back. Okay, let me stop this. Okay, so I go back, come back in. There is a part of that signal that's being cut. So it doesn't show me that I'm creating any problems. So the width is fine. Yeah, velocity is bad now. So it's the needle needs to be moving too fast. Regular problems with the land. So how much space we have in between two grooves. I'm guessing that happens mostly because of the kick drum. Where the kick drum hits, it really just like moves and comes really close to the grooves around it. So yeah, this is really nice. You can see any problems you might have when cutting your song onto vinyl. So this is like kind of a test before you cut. You can just play your track through it in its entirety and see if there are any problematic areas. And you can see those areas like from a bird's eye view, looking at the vinyl from top down. And this is really cool to have. As I said, this is a demo. Fully functional. The only thing you cannot do is recall the session. You can control the width of the recording. You have an elliptical that's going to cut off all the stereo information below a certain point. You can even change the steepness of that filter. That's really, really cool. So you have some processors to actually help you get it vinyl ready for the most common of things. And that gain for the disc cut. Let's see if I push up the gain on that disc cut a lot. Let's try that. That's now red already. So let me go back and stop this. Let's see what it looks like now. Yeah, now we have width problems even without, even with, oh, look at that. The excursion is too much, too much. You cannot do that. So I can see right now that with this gain, we would have a big problem. So basically, without going into details of everything, if you really wanted to check it out, I deeply encourage you to always read the manual for everything. But this is a really good thing. You can check what would happen to your song when cut onto vinyl. But if you want to learn more about, mid-side stereo parts of the signal, mono parts of the signal, amplitude and whatnot, go to mixingacademy.com. I have a course that's 40 plus hours long and it's completely free thanks to 11.org. See you in the next video. Bye.